guys, how's it going? Marcelo here.
And Weston.
And welcome to Trash Talk. So
today, today's gonna be really interesting because we're not covering just one game. We're covering two games.
It's really odd.
Technically, it's really odd.
That's gonna be really cool. It's pretty interesting to hear our thoughts on it. We are going over Super Mario Bros. 2.
It's Super Mario 2, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.
And how we're going to go about Super Mario Bros. 2 is a little intricate because we've got the original NES US Mario Bros. 2, and now this is the remake, but we have the All-Stars pack, which includes the Lost Levels, which, if you don't know, in Japan is their canonical Mario Bros. 2 that comes right after the first one.
Alright, but first, let's get into a little bit of the summary. Our
Mario Bros. 2.
Our Mario Bros. 2.
In the US.
In the US, which over there is their spin-off, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
So we had to write down the dates because...
So if we look down, that's why.
There's 4 dates, and they're all very different. So our Super Mario Bros. 2, which is known as Super Mario Bros. USA over in Japan, came out for us on October 10th, 1988. But over there, it came out in September 14th, 1992. And then their Super Mario Bros. 2, which are the Lost Levels, which came out as a solo game over there, was released in June 3rd, 1986. However, we got to play it, us Americans.
US,
us Americans got to play this game in this All-Stars pack for the NES in August 1st, 1993.
Yeah, I don't have the original All-Stars pack. This is the remake for the 25th anniversary of Mario.
Or else we would be showing you it.
Yeah, and that's the version you got to play, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so on to the story, which is a little odd. Okay, so I guess I'll go over the American Mario Bros. 2, and then the Lost Levels. Which, actually, let me just get the Lost Levels out of the way. It's pretty much the same thing as Mario Bros. 1. With the gameplay itself and all that, which we'll get into later, does have some twists and turns and things. It's identical, but it still technically is a direct sequel. It's a little odd, but it's pretty much the exact same thing as Mario Bros. 1, albeit pretty tougher. Mario Bros. 2 now has a completely intricate story and look all to itself, which we'll be also going over. And I think I should preface this by saying, this game, where is it? Let me see it. Our Mario Bros. 2 came out in Japan as just this one game. We don't have all the info on it, so be sure to correct us if we're wrong.
All we know is that the game that was inspired to become this, that inspired this game, was a game called Doki Doki Panic, which was a partnership between Nintendo and the Fuji Television Network in Japan.
I believe that's what it was, yeah. So
in which a lot of the enemies were the same, except for this game, it was Mario. Mario got replaced with the
mascots. There were some Japanese mascots, as far as I know. I think that's what the characters of Doki Doki Panic were. But they just reskinned it and all that into a Mario game, and that's why we have Shy Guys and Pokies and all that stuff to even begin with. So the story of Mario Bros. 2 is, it all takes place, spoilers, in Mario's dream. Mario is dreaming of this other world called Subcon, which is in trouble by is taken over by this new villain named Wart. Sorry, Warp. I don't know where that came from. Wart.
Well, actually, on a side note, it's not really spoilers if the game is super old, man.
Well,
we can spoil it.
I don't know how many people have not played this yet. I don't know. This
doesn't matter.
Like almost 30 years old.
Yeah, it's 30 years old. I think the time for spoiling something that's 30 years old is already came and gone. What?
Okay, so Wart. Okay, Bowser's not even in this game, but Wart is a villain who we never actually really see after this, which was kind of a shame. But it's a kind of basic plot. This guy that no one likes, who's the bad guy, has taken over this world, and now Mario and friends have to save it. And it's a basic story like how Mario Bros. Is, with just Bowser kidnapping the princess, and he goes to save her.
Except there's no princess to save in this one, and we'll explain why.
Yeah, if you don't know, spoilers.
Again, the game's 30 years old.
I was making fun of it. Anyway, on to the controls, right? No, yeah, the controls?
Yes.
We have to check. Give us a moment, folks. It's been a while since we've had a check. It is controls. That's what I
Yes.
thought. Okay, controls.
Okay. So controls. I can speak for the for our U.S. version.
Yeah.
That it was really cool. It took a little bit getting used to because again I don't play a lot of retro games. I'm just starting to get into retro games. So again I'm used to the modern controller. But the good thing about the NES controller is that it's the A and B, and then
It's simple
it's
layout.
a very simple layout. It's probably one of the best controllers I've used, just because like
It's one of
it's
the
not
originals, so
it's not complicated to use at all. There's just 2 buttons you have to worry about.
yeah.
And
I
then
mean,
control
I
pad.
think it's the whole scenario of you've used more modern like Xbox, PlayStation, so you've gotten used to those. So going a bit simpler was actually a little complicated at first,
Yeah,
but it's pretty sufficient. So
but after a while, I started to get really alright with it.
yeah.
Picking up radishes to throw at enemies, and you can also pick up, instead of jumping on enemies like you would in the original Mario games, you can hop on them, but then you can pick them up and just throw them off ledges.
Yeah,
Which is
that's
crueler because,
but it
well,
is
sure,
really
you could
intricate.
stomp on enemies and then like they're like crushed, but then just lifting up an enemy and like just tossing them off
Well,
a ledge.
which would you rather do? Would you just blatantly kill a thing, or would you just toss it down an endless pit?
I could still kill it though.
If it holds up, not it's endless. Just keep falling for all eternity.
Well, actually, there's a thing, and this is true, that after falling like a certain amount, your heart starts beating. So you would die. So he's
Well, we're
still
talking
killing
about
people.
okay, whatever. I'm like, well, I'm trying
Video
to
game logic.
Yeah, I'm trying to justify this logic with like, well, we're talking about fictional things here, but then again, like, we went too far off. Anyway, so the controls for our Mario Bros. 2 was alright for you.
Yeah, it was alright. I mean, it took a little bit getting used to, and then Marcelo had to say, "Oh, do this," or "Do that," and so I was like, "Okay, Marcelo, I can figure this out."
Okay. We're gonna go with that logic. We had a conversation about that. Anyway, so Mario the Lost Levels, again, there's not a lot for me to say on that end for the controls and the gameplay because it's very similar.
It's very similar. However,
To the
I
first.
can speak from experience because I died a lot in this game. And you could and I could justify that. I was like, oh well, it's hard. I just suck at it. Okay, I'm just gonna say I sucked at the Lost Levels. Unlike the first game, however, where you could just powerhouse through it and just like skip everything. With this game, it puts a bunch of traps in. It expects you to do that. So you have to kind of slow your pace a little bit to kind of see what's going on. And I did not do that. I kind of just like powered through.
Which resulted in like 20 plus deaths.
Because
yeah.
again, I was thinking of the first game, and I know the first game you could just like power through it.
I mean, that's an easy thing to pick up as well. Like you see, oh shit, this is way more intricate and like precise and like cleverly designed than the first game. Maybe I should stuff that. It should bring out that kind of gamer instinct in you of. You don't have to be a 2D platformer or gamer. It's common sense to figure out. Oh shit, this is more intricately planted here. Maybe I should probably slow my pace down, really take my time to see this.
but with our Super Mario Bros. 2, you can just power through that. That's what I
pretty
did.
much. Kinda.
You're able to power through it.
For the first couple levels, you haven't gone as far as I have, and it gets tougher as
Yeah.
it goes on. It does get more intricate and more clever, but yeah, while the Lost Levels gets really it's hard. It's pretty tough. You should know this if you've played it. But in terms of how it controls and the gameplay, it's the same as the first game.
Yeah.
So that's why for us it's a spin-off, and for them it's still technically, since it looks, which we'll get into this a little bit later, it looks aesthetically the same as well.
And it has
That's
pretty
why
much
it's
all
their
the same enemies as in the first game.
that's why it's their canonical sequel. So
So yeah.
what's
Alright,
next?
with that,
the aesthetics, right?
Yeah, the aesthetics.
Well, as we were just saying, it's
Alright, well, for the time, I don't know, like, it looks alright for the time. It's 8-bit. It was on the NES for
which one are you talking about?
the American, yeah, the American version. Which, the one I'm talking about, it looks alright for how it is. It's in 8-bit.
So yeah, I mean,
So,
of
again,
course it's dated now.
it's
but
very dated now, but
it's still enjoyable.
you know, there's a lot of there's reasons why people still enjoy 8-bit.
Yeah.
Like with Shovel Knight, which
it's more 16-bit-ish. I would have to say. I would think.
So,
Correct us if we're wrong. I don't know. On that little tidbit.
But yeah, like there's a reason why people like the 8-bit look.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
it's very simple.
yeah.
And it's alright. I enjoy the 8-bit stuff.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so like with again this, if any of you guys have played this version of the All Stars pack, all the games, all 4 of them, Mario Bros. 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Levels, you can't really see it, there it is, have this weird other, like, updated look to it, which you can see here. You can see here, right? Yeah. So this is their look, just because they want to modernize the look just a little bit. So it looks cleaner, it looks a bit better. It's not 8-bit, but I have played the original Lost Levels, sorry, on Virtual Console, and I've seen how it looks in NES form. And there are some things they did a little bit different, like they gave the clouds like eyes and mouths, and the brick layout, the brick texture on the floor is not the same as used in the first game. So there are some little aesthetic differences within the Lost Levels on NES. So that's the version I have to speak for, not necessarily this one, because if you do that, then this is way different in look than the original. But it's similar. As we were saying earlier, it's really similar. So
So
it about that?
that's pretty much it about that. So now we're gonna talk about the soundtrack, and the soundtrack for ours, the US version, and establishes a mood. It's significantly, and I wouldn't say it's significantly different from.
In the first game, not so much.
Not too much, but there is different. There is like a little difference in there.
Koji Kondo's the composer for both. Well, he has to be for the Lost Levels, because they reuses the music from Mario 1. Again, I think that's another reason why. Not just because it was too hard, but it's way too similar to where it'd be technically considered Mario 1.5.
So yeah.
Maybe that's why they were like, make it a spin-off. We'll use this game. I don't know why they chose Doki Doki Panic. If there's a reason, we don't know it, but it's like, we worked on this game. It has some Mario potential. Let's just Mario-fy it. Essentially.
Let's take this character out of there and just
put Mario in there.
Mario in there.
So that's kind of how it feels.
Just
but
get rid of the guy.
So
Mario in there.
the Lost Levels music is the exact same as Mario 1, and how is that? Well, of course it's good because
it's good.
iconic.
It's iconic. It's 8-bit music.
Yeah.
I mean, 8-bit music, it's an acquired taste. Not everyone's gonna like it, but no, for gamers,
That's alright.
they're pretty good. I listen to some 8-bit from time to time. Because it kind of has like that iconic sound to it.
Yeah, of course. Like,
So
yeah.
I enjoy it.
If you've heard 8-bit, then whenever you do hear it later, you can't mistake it. It's just one of those sounds you can't mistake. And it's really good. It's alright. So, yeah.
So,
Okay,
so not much about the soundtrack.
It's fine. It's good.
It's not very different, especially for the Lost Levels. It's pretty much the same. It's pretty much the same, but no, it's good for what it is. So finally, now we're at the characters. And these games are really cool in the way that these are the first games, especially the Lost Levels, or their Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, was the first one to really distinguish Luigi.
I believe, because I was talking about him with him about this earlier. I believe that their canonical Mario Bros. 2, when it was just out and whatever, like before it came here as Lost Levels, I believe over there, I want to say, because if not, then for sure it was our Mario Bros. 2. But I think over there, that was the first game to start distinguishing Mario from Luigi and making them not the same, not just a palette swap of each other, or Luigi a palette swap of Mario. So
yeah,
for Mario Bros. 1, for Mario Bros. 3, because it's a little weird if you've noticed, of course, that Mario Bros. 1 has them both as palette swaps and they play the same, they are the same. Mario Bros. 2 / The Lost Levels started changing up all that stuff, and then number 3, they're like the same again. And Mario World, they're the same again. So it's a little weird. So these two games are the ones that started differentiating Mario from Luigi.
And then plus, along with this, our Super Mario Brothers 2 was also the first game to introduce Toad and Princess Peach or was she like by a different name back then?
Toadstool.
Princess Toadstool, Princess Peach, as we know her as Princess Peach, were playable characters in our Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah.
Which would not happen for a while until Mario 3D World.
3D World.
And that game came out
Like a year ago?
Yeah, like
so?
a year or two ago.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I want to say like a year, like 2 years.
what happened there between that and like between those 30 years?
It's really just
Did
been
you,
Mario and
like-
Luigi after that, so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
it
in
was
the
really
main,
intricate.
well, again, in the main Mario games.
Yeah, it was intricate in that sense that was the first game that let you do that, and it wouldn't be
Done again until much later.
3D World.
Again, 3D World.
yeah, revisited was the word I was trying to find. So yeah, what I was gonna say earlier was from differentiating Mario and Luigi, you all know that Luigi jumps higher and has less traction, and it makes it a little bit more challenging to use Luigi. So if you're using Mario for a lot of these games, then you already know how he plays. He's a well-rounded character.
He's very well, yeah.
And
like
Luigi
that's-
is more for
back
the-
then, like I didn't really like using Luigi too much. Every time I would switch.
Oh,
to
me
him,
neither.
it's like ah,
Well,
he kind of like slides around everywhere, and I don't really like that. I probably like it a little bit more now,
yeah.
but
Well, see, I have
because he has that jump higher, so
I forgot what it's called, but I think it's also called like All-Star whatever or something like that. Or Advance, it's Mario Advance. I have a Game Boy port of Mario Bros. 2.
yeah.
And I play as Luigi on that because for the higher jump. And because he wiggle waggles his feet everywhere. It's really funny. But I think his higher jump is significant. So you can like, if there's like stairs, if you're Mario and you're not that good at Mario Bros, you do like dum 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 dum. But Luigi you can go doing doing, and you can just, it's a little faster if you know.
So
what you're
yeah,
doing.
you can just get through stuff faster. Not
So-
need to hop on every little step.
Yeah. So that's kind of it for the characters.
That's kind of it. Well,
kind of
except
in
we can
general?
probably talk about the enemies in the game. Because, in a sense, they're kind of characters.
Oh, yeah,
and
of course.
In the Lost levels, it's pretty much just the same bread and butter characters that you've seen. Like the Koopas and then the Goombas.
Well, Goombas aren't actually in. Wait a minute. I don't think the Goombas are in Mario Bros. 2. As far as I remember. I have not played it and
You
beaten
mean
Mario
the
2
little,
from beginning to end.
little mushroom
Goombas.
guys?
No, Goombas are not in Mario Bros. 2.
Okay,
in
what-
our Mario Bros. 2.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about the Japan.
Oh, okay, hold on.
You got confused.
I got confused and the phone's ringing. Hold on. Okay, so we're back.
Alright, so as I was saying,
Now I understand what you were talking about.
yeah,
So,
so in the Lost levels,
levels.
or Japan's Mario Brothers 2,
yeah.
I'm saying that a lot.
Well,
So,
Yeah.
pretty much, it's the same enemies, like the Koopas and the Goombas. They're pretty much similar.
yeah, they did introduce the poison mushroom, so
And I fell for
as
that.
someone knows.
I fell for it. It was like, oh, the mushroom.
What? No!
And then I died.
I was like, dude, it's purple.
I haven't seen the purple mushroom before. I wanted to see what it would do.
I think that's good. It's not good, dude. It's not good.
And it was like, well, I want to try it.
Like that half-second realization, like, it's like, no, that killed me. So, but it what's the moment I'm looking for? It is a good addition. I don't know.
Yeah.
It makes you think again, like. You know.
Yeah, again, to make you think and
Oh,
like
can I
kind of
mention,
say,
can I mention a thing that we did not mention in? I would assume we would have mentioned it in gameplay or aesthetics, but they thought of everything for spoilers. I just have to. You don't know who hasn't played this game. Anyway.
Well, let's do that.
Okay, who cares? I'll just, whatever. So, this was the first game to start including more than just like 8 or so worlds. This includes a 9th world, the Lost Levels. And also, if you do the secrets, you know a lot of the secrets from Mario Bros. 1, where you can do the hidden warp pipes and they take you to earlier levels. If you try and do that in the Lost Levels, sometimes the end of the levels will have to jump forward, some of them will have you jump back. So if you go to like World 5, you're thinking, hey, I'll go to World 8 or something, it'll jump you back to like World 3.
Wait,
So-
then they have to play World 3 again? Oh, that is awful.
It's intricate. It's really.
Oh my god.
Those bastards thought of everything.
Especially if I did that, I spent like 3 or 4
Oh,
hours.
I could envision you
getting-
getting pissed.
Like, I would get pissed. I would just
World
like,
8,
World 8!
3?
Wait a minute.
Oh!
Can I go back? Oh my god! No!
So,
Fuck this.
They thought of everything, so that's pretty intricate.
So
That's
there's
neat.
a lot. Maybe this could be like one of the first games that trolls gamers.
Pretty much.
Okay, guys.
Alright, see you later. Classic interruptions. Haven't had those in a while. But as we were saying, yeah, Lost Worlds is freaking clever. It's pretty tough. Nintendo, can I have a moment? Is it alright if I have a moment?
No, go ahead.
Nintendo?
Take all the time you need.
Be more like the Lost Levels again, man. Please? You gotta make tougher games of Mario like the way you used to. Moment over.
Okay.
That's really it, because I have
Because
opinions on
games are kind of getting, well, and I agree, games are kind of getting a little bit easier, and they're kind of starting to baby people.
pander to people, kind of.
Don't be pandering to people. People have brains for a reason. Make them use it.
But
Don't say, oh, this is how you do it, little guys. No, make them challenge it through the gameplay. It's like, what am I supposed to do? Wait, what if I just try pressing buttons? Oh my god, that did something. See, that's how it was back then.
I'm just saying, like, interject some of that back into these games, to where it's, like, literally pretty challenging. But, because Lost Levels is awesome for that. So,
Actually, on a little sub note, if we're doing indie games, we could talk about Limbo, because I actually have it on my Xbox One, and I actually played that. I have replayed a little bit of it because it actually does do that what you're talking about, in which it doesn't tell you anything, it just shows you through the gameplay. You have to figure it out.
Spoilers. We might do indie games.
Now that I've mentioned indie games.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, Mario. There's a lot of indie games that do that. Oh yeah, that's why a lot of people like to play indie games, because they are pretty. Super Meat Boy, hello, pretty freaking challenging.
My meaty boy.
So yeah, that's really it. Before we do the verdicts, do these two games hold up as a sequel? As whichever one you'd prefer to see as a canonical sequel, and which they both in their own rights are. For us, US. For them, in Japan.
Well, in my opinion, I think the Lost Levels kind of holds up more because, again, they're very similar, but I would say too similar. And then Mario Brothers 2, our US version, is kind of just very different from the original one, where they changed up things a lot.
Yeah, well, again, however they decided to just do that, it's still technically, I mean, you can't really change it. In the US, this is our canonical Mario 2. So.
Even though the Lost Levels is more of a truthful sequel than the counterpart. So I would see this one as more of a spin-off, and this one, the Lost Levels, as more of a sequel, because they just do a lot. No, it's very similar, in fact, too similar. It is similar, and that's at least.
Yeah. So...
my phone.
Okay, so whatever sequel you want to see as the canonical Mario, because this is our canonical Mario Bros. 2, but then again in Japan, this is theirs. So, as a sequel though, do these stand up well?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would say the Lost Levels do a little bit more though, because again, they're
aesthetically,
similar. There's controls, but they do change up some things, especially with that trolling.
Yeah, it's legitimately tougher.
And it's legitimately tougher, which is what you want to see in a sequel.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of the similar things, but a little bit different mechanics, and a little bit more of a challenge to it.
Yeah,
because again, you can't get trolled in Lost Levels.
Yeah, because our Mario Bros. 2 is like a completely different beast altogether, seemingly. But it is our canonical Mario Bros. 2, so we have to judge that for that as well. And as a sequel to the first game, yeah, it does hold up, because it gave us a lot of the enemy staples, like we've mentioned before, Shy Guys, Pokies, all that kind of stuff. So, it's still really good.
Yeah.
And with that, verdicts. Let's start with our Mario Bros. 2.
Alright, for the US Mario Brothers 2, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. It's fun. It's a little bit easier and really just easier to get into, but though it's not, as a sequel-wise, again, it changes a little bit too much for it to be like a true sequel. But overall, it's fun, and like you can get used to the controls really fast. So I would give it a 3 out of 5. 3.5 out of 5.
For me, I actually have to give that the same exact verdict for pretty much the same exact reasons. Those of you who think I'm like super infatuated with Mario, it's kind of true, but I can judge it completely just based off what it is. And I do kind of agree with you in that, yeah, it is really, really different, and there is still a lot of iconic stuff that came from that, and it still influences a lot of later Mario games, but, I mean, hello, 3D World, but, like, for it being just it and how it is, the US Mario Bros. 2, I have to give it a 3.5 out of 5 as well. So now on to the Lost Levels.
With the Lost Levels, I had it's a little bit tougher controls, and so again, putting rage aside, the level design's really good because it forces you to kind of just stop. Unless you're me and you want to just power out through everything, just expect to die a bunch, like me.
And so
with that, I'll give it a 3 point, and then again, I'll give it a slightly higher 3.75 out of 5 because though
okay, let's not go with that. Are you gonna give it a 4 or a 3.5? I don't think we should do the other in-betweens between the 0.5 is already an in-between. Let's not this arc do in-betweens within the in-betweens.
Well,
it's either a solid number or a 0.5.
Alright.
So it's a 3.5 or is it 4?
I would give it a 3.5 because it is a little bit harder, and again, this one's harder to get used to because again, with the first Mario game, you want to really, like, you're expecting, like, oh, I want to power through this. Don't, because you're going to die a bunch. Again, like me. But, you know, it's a little bit more clever in its design. So, again, it's going to also get a 3.5 out of 5.
So with Mario the Lost Levels, for me, I think I have to give it a little bit higher. I would go with a 4 out of 5 because, how we were just saying, again, I have to agree with you. It is really, really similar. But I do, in that sense, kind of wish it was our canonical sequel because of how similar and because it is legitimately tougher. There are no tutorials, no things like that, there's no pandering. That's what I was saying. Nintendo, make more games kind of like this, in that structure of, there's some familiar stuff there, of course. Those are called staples. That's not called reusing crap for the sake of reusing it because it has to be Mario. They're staples, that's fine. But make the gameplay legitimately pretty tougher because we're smart people, we're smart gamers. We know how to game if we've been doing it for a long time. And even if not, common sense comes into play. So let's be a little bit less pandering, a little bit more think it through. And we're
think
not gonna
less
tell you
of, oh, just press A to do this and this, and then you'll be able to do that.
And with that
more
voice,
of, here we go.
Here we go, do it.
Here we go. Figure it out.
I mean, don't leave us completely in the dark, but do assume that we're smart gamers. We know how to press buttons.
Like maybe like show a character doing like something like, oh, jump on like a watermelon or something. If you have to jump on a watermelon, it's like,
and then do that.
Oh wait, how do you do that? Oh, he jumped on the watermelon.
Maybe I should do that too.
Maybe I should do that.
Whoa.
Oh my god.
Dude.
Dude.
The 90s were awesome.
Oh yeah.
This has been Trash Talk. I'm Marcelo.
And I'm Weston.
And
this was
really
the roaring 90s.
You've never had an adventure like this. It's everything you've dreamed of and worlds more. It's Super Mario 2, only from Nintendo. Now you're playing with power.